McMillan recently had a chance to chat with Ms. Swift.
What does this album say about where you are in your life right now?
I think it says a lot about where I am in my life. I think it says different things than anything I've ever said before on my albums. You know, they have tended to be a little boy-centric and dating-centric and things like that, because when you're in your late teens and early 20s, navigating love is the most enthralling thing to you. But for me, the last 2 years of my life I've been more fascinated with discovering who I actually am and what I actually want, and living my life on my own terms and defining what I want my world to be with no outside input. So that's a new statement to make. You know, there are songs about what it was like for me to move to New York. And there are songs that reflect back on relationships that ended without thinking that they were bad.
And the first hit, Shake It Off, pokes a little bit at your critics, and the song says, haters gonna hate. Have you got to a place where you don't care what people say about you?
More so than ever before. I don't think anyone actually ever really gets to a place where they do not care what anyone thinks. I just I've learned how to write off the opinions of people who don't matter to me. So I think that one thing I wanted with that song is I wanted to write a song that would help people deal with just the stuff humans put other humans through on a daily basis. It's not just me. Everyone's online. Everyone has a profile. Everyone has a way to be criticized by other people. Everybody hears gossip about themselves that isn't true. It's not just me. So I wanted to write a song that touched on that and gave people a way to cope with that, but wasn't coming from a victimized perspective, was joyful and made people want to dance.
Yeah, it comes from a position of strength, and that's what your young fans relate to. You mean so much to them. Every tweet, everything that you do for them. Do you ever stand back and say, wow, I have a lot of power, I have a lot of influence over these often young, really young girls?
I think it's actually the most incredible thing to be able to reach that many people with one tweet or one Instagram post or one post on Tumblr. But one way I've started to use that in the last couple of months is I've just inserted myself into their online communities and been in on their inside jokes and talked to them, not just like posting industry career centric things like vote for me for this or this is coming out now. Like I really want them to know that they're the only thing that makes me feel like my life is normal. Honestly, there's so many different abnormal circumstances surrounding my life that the only way I actually get to feel normal is when I go online and I read about their day at college.
And when do you get a chance to do that? Are you staying up late and on your phone?
Yeah. It's like, I'll say I'm going to bed and then I'll go up to my room and I'm just on Tumblr for an hour. Just like, I follow a bunch of fans on Tumblr and I just love, they're so funny. And I love that the internet has given people such a creative way to express who they are and to show their identity and to develop their sense of humor. And I just like, I have a really good time with it, and I think the more I've gotten comfortable with being myself and letting people know that I'm awkward sometimes and I'm not that cool and like I'm not edgy, I think the more you just be yourself and you kind of lead by example, the more my fans are cool with joking around with me and maybe living their lives more comfortable with the fact that they're not trying to be something they're not, because I'm not either.
Can you do anything? You use the word normal, so I'll use it. Can you do anything like a normal person? Can you go out for a coffee? Can you go shopping? Or is everything an event with tons of paparazzi following you?
Anything outside my house or my apartment doesn't ever really feel normal. I try so hard to make it normal because I don't engage, like if I'm being followed by a camera crew and all these paparazzi, they know that I don't want to have a conversation. And in New York, they're very respectful of that. Like, they just take their pictures and they say thank you and they leave. I don't want to make it into a press conference. My friends wouldn't want that either. But in my apartment, in my house, we can bake, we can make dinner, we can dance, we can do whatever we want. It's just that it's just a fact that when I'm outside the doors of my apartment, people are watching me, and that's the life that I chose.
And you're okay with it?
I have days where I am, days where I'm not. You know, like, I don't think anyone has a solid stance on any way that they feel. Like, it's like saying, are you happy every day? You know, I mean, sometimes it feels absolutely stifling and overwhelming, to be honest with you. But most of the time I'm able to go through the mental exercise where I just say to myself, how many years did you want this? How many years did you dream about this? How many times did you say to yourself that if you ever got famous, you would walk up to people in restaurants and introduce yourself if they were trying to take a picture of you? Like, I always used to say when I was a little kid, like, if I ever got to do this, I would make the most of it, and I would try to do good things with it, and I wouldn't be all weird and affected by it. So it's not a normal life. I think it's only honest that I admit that to myself. But there are ways that I can still act normal amongst all of it.
1989 goes back to where it's the year you were born, back 24 years. Where do you see yourself in 24 years? You're almost 50 years old.
Oh, wow. I mean, I really hope that I hope I'll allow myself to age gracefully, and I hope that I will age without having a lot of anxiety about aging. Because I think a lot of people, especially people in the public eye, they tend to think that aging decreases your worth or decreases your relevancy or decreases the value on your thoughts. And I'm really hoping that with time I'll gain more wisdom and I will use it for good and not allow my brain to create all this anxiety about something that's going to happen to everybody.
On a much lighter note, you're also a fashion icon. People named you 2014 Best Dressed. And your contemporaries are often seen in tight, short, revealing. You've gone the other way. Was that by choice to go in a different direction? You're decidedly more ladylike.
It's, I think that fashion is a way to express what inspires you. And everybody's got their own style icons, and mine are just more in the vein of Audrey Hepburn and
your grandmother. I read
my
that
grandmother,
really
yeah,
inspired you.
So, you know, I think that the cool thing about fashion right now is that you can go so many different ways with it. And living in New York has really kind of changed the way that I look at fashion and the way I put myself together in the morning. Like, it's not a lot, it doesn't change it a lot, but I'll just think, maybe I could match my purse with my shoes today. Like, maybe I'll do that. You know, like, I think having 20 camera, like, photographers outside your apartment kind of makes you think twice about your outfit. But I think New York has definitely had an influence on my style.
Well, we know you love fashion. We know you love the 80s. And in keeping with our tradition at Canada, and we wanted to give you a gift. And these are some fashion accessories from the 80s.
Wow.
Thank you.
From the 80s or?
From the 80s.
Really?
Well,
they're based on the 80s?
They're
or
based on the 80s.
Oh my God.
These rubber bands, did you know about these bracelets?
Yes, I did.
The more the better.
Oh, this is
Stack them.
amazing. Oh, I love this.
Right on.
Look
And there's
at,
leg warmers and scrunchies.
I look fabulous.
You look great already, and you can't be over-accessorized.
No, you
just
can't.
can't do too many things. And we have some candy from the
I wanna wear
80s
all
as
of
well.
them. You got me candy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I think there's some pop
so
rocks
hungry.
in here as well. You're going to eat them now. And one other thing we want to point out to you, the 1989 yearbook. These are all things that happened the year that you were born.
Oh, that's fabulous. Do you want one of these?
Oh, sure. Who's going to say no? Thank you.
This is
Taylor
amazing.
Swift, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
It's been a really serious interview.
I'm sure.